would say our policy is to develop the quality of the students, right? So when you want to develop the quality of the students, you need to understand them, care about them, right? So when you care about them, you will look into their problems, you will look into their needs, right? So you will go into their needs, into their problems and try to fix them. And also because you are educators, so you will have good plans for them to grow step by step. And we know that when their inside is very strong, their outside will also be very strong as well.
So last time we saw this facility, and this is part of the estate of Unity Concord.
Right. This part is called Unity Park.
Unity Park as in business park.
Yes, business park.
That's right.
Because the school starts from the fence, right? Inside will be Unity School, but outside is not called Unity School. It's called Unity Park or Business Park.
That's right.
Yes.
There's security at the gate, so it's hard to enter the school proper. But here, this is the amenities like cafes, canteens, and stuff like that.
And school language.
Yeah. The first time that we visited this place, and I saw a lot of foreign teachers and also students after class. I think from 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon that they kind of went to the cafe, and their parents are also there.
Yes,
so the parents are waiting in this area.
Right. Because we are an international school, and we also have the language school here, CEC, and we have the Falcon Fitness over there. So starting from 8 in the morning, many parents, some choose to go exercise at our Falcon Fitness, and some choose to hang around in our coffee shop, and some choose to come here to study Thai, study English, or other things.
The decision to build amenities in addition to a school is actually not very common, right? It's not a common practice because when people are building schools, they consider the school proper. They don't really consider building amenities along with the school. So why is that decision made?
Basically, at the beginning, we had a very good talk with a big shopping mall. They kind of promised us that they would like to rent this front part to build a shopping mall, right? 2-story.
That's right.
It was very, very beautiful dream at that time. So we decided to allocate it, this part, the first part for that shopping mall. And then we start to drill, the picture for the school. And at the beginning, we didn't have big money, so we tried to start it small. So we had only one big building at the beginning, inside Unity. And the land was so big at that time, so we just would like to keep a lot of green area. So that student can play around, run around. And as the time developed, so there were so many negotiation, discussion, and arguments. So we ended up, so we didn't seem to make good fortune, or on the other hand, you try to take so much advantage on our land, on our school. So we said, we would do the business part on our own.
So you mentioned one important aspect of your development, your expansion into international education. You mentioned that finance is at the beginning is a difficulty, right? That you have to overcome.
Yes, always a big problem.
There's different stages in your company's educational group's development, and this is the second very important transition, which is from Thai formal education to international education. Now, so you had difficulties at the very beginning, and you tried to overcome the difficulties, but that says a lot about how let's say, significant this decision was. So I wonder what were the drivers of this decision to move from Thai formal education to international education in 2017 when you built Unity Concord.
Right. So got to thank you our founder, Ajahn Chugiet and Ajahn Ampon. Both of them started a language school 35 years ago, and they did very good job. The business kept growing and growing, and the parents loved them because they were so kind and they would like to give everything to the students. So the parents said that when we studied language at your school, so we would like to continue on studying with you. So Ajahn Chugiet and Ajahn Ampon started a small kindergarten school called Little Stars.
That's right.
Right. And the Little Star school went also very good, very well. It kept growing until one day the parents said, we were not happy to leave you because Little Star provided only K1 to K3. And then we would like to study with you from grade 1 on. So Ajahn Chugiet and Ajahn Ampon, our two founders, our two bosses, got the idea, okay, so we would need to continue on opening grade 1 to grade 6. So it was the start of our bilingual school called ABS, Ambassador Bilingual School, yes, about 17 years ago.
So in your description, obviously you're very sensitive as a private educational group. You're very sensitive to, let's say, market demands or parents' demands, right? Now, my understanding is that this is not very common. From my personal experience interacting with Thai schools, it's actually not very common. Most of the schools don't really listen to parents that much. So this comes down to, I think, the very important question of education, private education, and I wonder how you see, what is the place of private education in Thailand, and how do you play a role more responsibly? Because private education in China is usually associated with profit making, unfortunately. So I wonder, what is the role of private education in Thailand in general, and how did you play that role responsibly?
I have to mention our two bosses again, because they love to teach people. That's the main thing, and they would like to see Thai people become well equipped with the English language. So they focus on building people more than making money. So if you look at the account book, right, accountant book, you would see that a lot of red color in their books. So they didn't make much money, but they would like to give and as much as they can. So the parents, many parents felt that this school, right, CEC school, from the beginning kept on giving, providing. We also arrange a lot of parties to encourage people to enjoy studying and coming to the school. And we also help support many teachers so that they would love to stay with us long. So I think our main strategy, which worked, was to give first. Yes.
The strategy sounds like, because there are many church schools in Thailand, some of the most educational successful schools here in Chiang Mai, for example, like Montfort, the Prince, these are very, very old schools, and they're all church schools. Now, my understanding is that your schools are not church schools, but you seem to have adopted a philosophy pretty similar to the church schools. There's also a lot of very successful church educational groups, such as Salasa in Thailand. So it seems like that your business model is pretty new. Would you characterize it as new? So secular education, primarily a family business, but kind of developed pretty fast and pretty successful over the years. Would you say that your business model is actually quite new? Would you characterize that in Thailand?
I think that deeply inside, people long for love, and because our two bosses, they believe in God, so they let love lead everything they do. So they do everything with love, with care, and with understanding. So many parents, right, came to them and discussed their problems with the family or with their children. So they also worked or play as an consultant to the parents, to the family as well. So many parents from the beginning, they seem to go against Ajahn Chige, Ajahn Pon, but as time passed, they could see the sincerity from Ajahn, from the love, from the care, and all the difficulty that they went through together. So the love, starting from small, but grew bigger and stronger. So I would say that our very dominant character in all our schools is the love that the two founders give to all the staff, the teachers, the students, the family. So we would like to build a loving, caring environment here, more than just business.
So obviously your founders are followers of Jesus Christ. Christianity played a very important role in their decision to, let's say, keep developing this education as an enterprise, but also as their contribution to society. But I went, to your websites and literature, and it doesn't seem like you advertise yourself as a church school, right? So you're not a church school. You seem to advocate for secular education. So how important is it? Does faith play in the daily operation of the school, and also in classes or for educational activities? Does it play any role, or how important is it?
I think the main thing, the key thing is our bosses love everyone that are under them. So they did not treat anyone like workers, but like family instead. So they cook and they share food, and they send into boxes to many offices, and they visit the office and talk about the living, the life, or the problems. And we also get together as a small meeting or even a church meeting to teach them how to organize your life, how to let love lead your life. And they are very good examples to all the staff here. So we felt like they are our parents also. So when everyone have the same parents in such a big organization, we feel like we are brother, sister in here. So we care about one another, and we would like to encourage one another to grow together, not to compete against one another here.
So you talk about, I think I have two questions about what you just said. One thing is that you mentioned value. Value is important, and obviously the personality of your founders is very important.
Right.
So then the question would be that from a family business, primarily from the very beginning,
right,
expanding pretty fast into Thai formal education and then to international education, do you see that value-based family business model, do you foresee any difficulties in your expansion, or have you already experienced any difficulties in terms of decision making or in terms of educational philosophy in your expansion? So I think that's the first question. The second question you mentioned about competition. Now it's also very interesting to see that Unity Concord was built in 2017, and then Americana Chinese in 2019.
Yes.
But these two schools have very similar curriculum. They both use the Common Core, the American Common Core curriculum. So there's an overlap in terms of business. They have an overlap and competitive positions against each other. So I wonder, what was the decision to? I suspect, that the Chinese presence in Chiang Mai probably is one of them. But I would like to, hear if there's other factors involving the decision of building a second American curricular school.
So for the first question, right? So what would be the advantages, right, or the disadvantages for our love leading business, right? Style, right?
And also in terms of business models, a family business, right?
Yes,
Primarily.
Yes. I would say for sure that our school's business style is like a family business school. Yes, because our boss, right, our two bosses, they care about everyone, and they would like to share the love that they have to each other, to other people, and we have faith in God, right, in Jesus, in love, that we believe, and we are sure that when we have love to lead our life, so we will forgive each other, we will love each other, we will care about each other, and we will help each other. So, and it worked for 35 years. It worked for 35 years. But in business part, we don't seem to be very, very big or dominant in the business part, right? Because we are not so aggressive to fight against the others. But we grew slowly, steadily, and strongly, and warmly and happily here. Yes. So I think there will be people who think like us, and when they come here, they feel the environment, they feel the conversation, they feel the behaviors, they feel the styles, and they feel the people here. So they feel secure to study here, to live here, to work here. Right?
So in your transition, first you expanded from a language center to a Thai formal school, to include a Thai formal school, Little Star, and then ABS, Ambassador Bilingual School. And then later in 2017, you expanded again into international education. Now, in all of these very important transitions, your expertise, your existing expertise, obviously couldn't satisfy the demand of the new opportunity presented to us that you've chosen to embrace, obviously. So I wonder, from the educational perspective, have you experienced any difficulties when you made the transitions initially, and then how did you tackle with the difficulties?
We have to thank God, because the more we grew, the more better people we received. So we did not work alone. We seem to be provided enough and abundantly, yes, personally or mentally or business-wise or environmentally, yes, everything that seemed to be very well planned and provided. When you look at our location here, I would say it is one of the best location, right? Because Unity is on the main superhighway, so from Unity you can go to other provinces. You can go to the city.
That's right.
You can go to a shopping mall So it's a very, very convenient and very, very beautiful location. On the other hand, we also have ABS and ACIS on the other side of the road, which are also very, very good location. So this is not a coincidence or an accident, but it's clearly that it had been planned. Yes,
The
very well.
yeah. So you mentioned the you're not very aggressive in your business expansion, and in terms of competition, you're more embracing the possibility of integration rather than competition within the group. I think you meant Unity and Americana Chinese.
Right.
And also, I think ABA, Ambassador Bilingual Academy, and Ambassador Bilingual School, they're pretty similar schools. But your expansion was pretty, let's say, was pretty impressive over the years, because you started out this international enterprise, international education enterprise in 2017.
Right.
In 5 years, you built 4 schools,
Right.
all, like you said, in prime locations. With beautiful campuses. I heard Ambassador Bilingual Academy had a very, very nice campus with a view of one of the mountains.
Right.
So
It's called a resort school.
right. So obviously, in practice, you seem to be very, very, let's not say aggressive, but pretty impressive in building all of these facilities in a short period of time. That I think by now we can safely to say that you're one of the top educational groups in Chiang Mai, perhaps the number 1 in Chiang Mai, within a very, very short period of time. So there must be something that is, what is the secret sauce of that? Like, there must be, like, you're pushing this very fast. It's just impressive.
Because I would say, yeah, for sure, that our God is great, right? And our leaders, Janchikia, Janampon, they work 24 hours. They don't stop working, right? So they never spend big money on their holidays, but they put a lot of their money on building and making the school good and better. So they kept their house small, but they kept the school like a palace. So I believe that people could see that their sincerity, their devotion, their sacrifices to the better and the more quality, the higher standards of our schools.
So you talk about faith and how faith played a very important role in all of the decisions in every stage of your development and growth. But again, I can't help but see that in your literature, in your marketing material, you don't seem to mention faith, unlike other schools, like some conventional church schools. They kind of center, faith in their marketing strategy, in their promotions of their schools. So I wonder why not mention faith in your literature?
I think that there are ways that we can tell other people that our God is great, our God is wonderful, and we have faith in God. Instead of telling other people about God, we have to let them see ourselves, what inside ourselves, what lead us to live our life, and in this way, and we have to show kindness, we have to show patience, we have to show love, we have to show understanding, and we also have to show wisdom to them. And one day they will start to ask, why you live your life this way, right? Instead of selling God in the front. So people will say, oh, not yet, right?
That's right. Church school is actually quite, I wouldn't say a completely new concept for the Chinese, but it's quite a unique concept because after so many years of a particular form of government, church schools are mostly outlawed. And so in China, most of the schools are public. They're funded by the government. They're run by Ministry of Education, local branches of the Ministry of Education. There are some private schools, and there's a growing number of international schools. But most of the international schools are not church schools. Their sources of funding must be either from companies or from different sources, but not the church funding for the law of that country. So I kind of understand the importance of faith, that played in your school. But for the Chinese, and obviously I understand the Chinese students are kind of a huge student body in your school. I understand that Unity Concord has 1/3 of the student body from China. And then there's also a percentage of mixed race students, American Chinese, Chinese American, stuff like that. But for the Chinese, when they listen to this word school, the Chinese word is 学校, meaning a learning institution, transliterally. The first thing they think about is, it must equip me academically with, the competence for me to continue to be educated, in higher educational institutions. So I wonder, obviously I understand how faith played a role, but in terms of education or academic matters, what is your policy and what is your philosophy, and how would you address, the challenge? Obviously, studying things are quite difficult. So how would you address, the challenge in academics?
I would say our policy is to develop the quality of the students, right? So when you want to develop the quality of the students, you need to understand them, care about them, right? So when you care about them, you will look into their problems, you will look into their needs, right? So you will go into their needs, into their problems, and try to fix them. And also, because you are educators, so you will have good plans for them to grow step by step. And we know that when their inside is very strong, their outside will also be very strong as well. And our strategy, of course, we would like the students to study here and feel happy. Yes. So we also provide them with a lot of activities, not only academy, right? So many students grew up to be singers here, grew up to be sport players here, grew up to be dancer or even scientists, and also they could do many things when they feel very fulfilled inside their mind, their heart.
When Chinese are thinking about international education, they don't really mean international. They actually mean American or British.
Yes.
So obviously your schools are situated in Thailand. There's the local context of the Thai culture, the Thai context, but you're also using American British curricula. So it is international education in a way, but is situated here in Thailand. So I wonder if there's anything unique about that, or how do you see yourself conducting international education in the context of Thailand or in the context of Chiang Mai?
We try to be very American here, and 99% of our teacher is American. So I believe that when you come into our international school, Unity School, you could feel that it's so American. The way people act, the way people talk, I mean the English teacher here, but each person, each teacher also has his own characters, right? So you have to be wise to look into each one and choose to make friends with them, because I cannot say that you will feel good with all the American teachers, right? Some may be too loud, Some may be too talkative, some may be too quiet, like that. But they have very their own style, American style. So we believe that we try our best to present our school in, according to the namesake American school, international school, right? And also because it's international school, you can see that there are other national students, right? Maybe from Korea, maybe from Israel, maybe from Burma, maybe from others, right? So we see that they are kind of mixed, multi-nationality here. However, we would like to show them that American style, do it like this, but you don't have to accept all of those, right?
So you present authentic American education following the American curriculum conducted by certified American teachers.
Right.
At the same time, I think this is also coming from God to maintain your individuality, your let's say your personality bestowed by God into you individually. I think this is another question related to how education is conducted here. The international flavor presented here is usually in conflict with the, let's say, the market factors. For example, 1/3 of the students are from China. Now, I'm pretty sure that in admissions of these students, and probably some of the Chinese parents are going to ask, what is the percentage of the Chinese students in the school, and they
or even in each class.
Even in each class, and in addition to that, they probably ask, how many American students are there in each class, because again, in terms of international education, their understanding is primarily American education. They would like their kids to be surrounded by primarily, obviously, American teachers, but also American fellow students, right? So Chiang Mai is a very interesting place because there are so many international schools.
Right, I'm going to say that.
But again, the students, the student population is decided by many different other factors, not just the educational factors. So I wonder how would you balance, the parental demands primarily from, I would say, it's not necessarily that every Chinese parent would demand that, but they would demand a certain kind of authentic American environment. But given here that the international students are primarily from non-English speaking countries, from cultures very similar to the Chinese culture, perhaps the Confucius cultures, such as Korea. So how would you balance that?
Yeah. This one is a kind of funny thing, because we always feel that Chinese people want to study, right? And they could not stop. They would like to study 7 days a week. So it's kind of quite a big problem at the beginning, because in the national school, American style, so after 3 p.m. you should be, relaxing.
Activities.
Right, you should do activity, you shouldn't do studying. Of course, because you speak English, because you know English. But many students here, right, especially the Chinese, right, they came here, they would like to catch up with the standard level, right, English standard level, or even higher than the standard level. So they could not wait, right, 2 years, 5 years, so that their kids will grow strongly, maturely, slowly, but they want fast track.
Yes.
Right? So that's good thing. We also open CC language school here to provide them extra classes 7 days a week. So if they would like to, they can come here, right, and choose classes or select classes for their kids to study. However, the teachers here are also American. So our teachers quite several times had some misunderstanding with the parents who are Chinese or Korean or Thai, right? They said, you need to give my children more homework and more homework. And they said, I could give them some, but not more or the most homework, right? So it need to look at each other and try to understand each other. So the teachers got to move a little more, and the parents got to step back a little bit, so that we could balance the life. However, we could see that the kids coming here, they at the beginning they seem to be pushed a lot. You study, you have to study, and you have to pass this level, you have to pass this test, you have to be good in 1 month, 6 months, like that. So we try to help them as much as we could, but in the same time, we have to give the parents some advice that people need time to develop. We would like to help them, but we also cannot snap our fingers and your kid will change in 1 week or 1 month.
That's right.
So please also work closely with the school, with the teachers at home, because many times we found that at home you never speak English. You
right.
never use English, but in here you would like them to use English automatically, fast and maturely or professionally. So it's kind of hard to expect such thing. However, many parents slowly understand our intention and give good cooperation to us, and because kids are young, so if they are open and they love the environment, the teacher, the system, they give good cooperation. That's why we see so many kids here, even though from the beginning their English level was very low, but in just a short time or maybe 2 years, they pick up a lot, and many pick up Thai language as well. So surprisingly, they could speak 3 languages eventually.
So you mentioned an overemphasis of academics and also over-parenting. They seem to be pretty characteristic of Chinese families. Now, you also mentioned patience, the virtue of patience in education. Now, I wouldn't characterize the Chinese as with that particular character, because this is primarily due to the socioeconomic developments of China in the past 30, 40 years, that everything seemed to happen too fast. Everyone wants to push and push and push and push harder. And my understanding is that patience is a Thai virtue, primarily from perhaps...
we say "mai pen rai," right?
"mai pen rai," right?
Yes.
It's maybe as a Buddhist teaching, that you need to be patient, you need to give your kids time to make the adaptation necessary in the international education context. So you also mentioned educational, let's say managerial style, which is characterized by another very interesting Thai character, which is compromise, right? I think the king famously proclaimed that Thailand is the land of compromise, which is pretty proper, in fact, because either culture, if pushed too far, might lead to disagreements, and that is not a proper setting for students to learn, actually. But this demand of academics is not going away easily, and the Chinese families who decide to send their kids to receive international education in Chiang Mai or Thailand or Southeastern Asia would continue to push for academics, because they're eyeing for probably, I don't know, Ivy League schools or Cambridge, Oxford, So they have a pretty solid kind of a goal in the coming 4 years, 6 years or whatever. So what is the, You mentioned that you have a CEC, which is your
Language school.
which is your language school, but you're also providing tutoring services so that you can help the students grow academically.
Right.
And you also mentioned that the students do grow academically following the let's say the tutoring or the training or the added classes. I noticed that your students' average IELTS score is 7.5, which is actually quite impressive because in order to qualify to enter, for example, like Cambridge, Oxford, or Imperial College, you must have 7 at least in IELTS. So it's actually quite impressive. Now, but how do you deal with this? Like, so you mentioned, that you kind of talk to the Chinese parents to guide them. How do you specifically, how do you do that? Like, it's a culture, it's been there for 30, 40 years, they've been educated like that. So how do you actually help them change the attitude to adopt a more patient, kind of more long-term attitude towards education?
If we look into the nature of the parents, right? Let's say the Chinese parents. I would say that there would be 2 groups, right? The one who are very well off, so they would just fly straight to America, right? To England or Canada, right? If they have enough or they have big money, so they know that it's the best way to give the education or English environment to their kids. However, the second group who have enough but not very big money, so they would need to choose, right, lower, right, cost choice. So Thailand, as they know that it's a good place, right, quite well developed, and the people are nice and everything seems cheap here, so it's a good place, right, to come and give it a try. And when they come, and there will be 2 groups. The first group, they mingle well, they blend well with the environment, and they feel, oh, this is less hectic, right? Less busy, and very slow life, very relaxing. Some blend well quickly and make strong decision to stay here long, right? And their kids seem to be very happy, very, very fulfilled. And in the same time, there are so many choices of schools for you to choose. If you have more, you can go to expensive international school. If you have less, you can go to cheaper international schools. So we are in the middle, but we could say for sure that our quality is quite high. Our facilities are one of the best, right? And our teachers are very good. And also, some parents learned that we could not blend well with your environment, right? Because you don't seem to be very aggressive. You don't seem to be pushing all the time. So they stay with us 1 year and they move to another. Yes. So there are 2 kinds. And I would say that there are always the market for you to play or to get into, because there are always, kinds of people, kinds of markets, kind of school. Yes.
So perhaps that's also why you experienced with horizontal integration, right? These different curricula and these different programs. As you mentioned, one important thing about cultural integration. Now, this is actually a very important issue for anyone who's making the decision to either immigrate to another country or to study in another country, right? Now, in this particular case, is Thailand, not an English-speaking country with its own unique culture. You obviously noticed some, let's not say issues, but some concerns about the Chinese families immigrating here to Thailand. What kind of, I wonder, what kind of advice would you give them
to the Chinese parents.
to the Chinese parents as a educationally and also from the cultural perspective.
As I feel that many parents who decided to come to Thailand, they seem to blend well. The majority, they seem to blend well with our environment. They seem to be very similar to our style, because I believe that people are so clear about their style. So, for example, when you choose to go into this restaurant and you will make some investigation in your mind, you look at the character of the shop, you look at the people inside, and maybe you could glance at the menu until you make the decision that, okay, I think I would be happy when I go eat inside. So you put your first step into the shop. It should not be possible that you look into the shop and you walk into the shop right away, right? So that means, that explains that those parents who decided to come to Thailand, I believe that they did some research and they feel that it seemed to be a good choice, and it seemed to be the style that very, very similar to ours. So they decided to come to Thailand, and after the first year, so they will make the second decision that they were happy with their first decision to come to Thailand, or they were disappointed everything was not the same as they expected or not. If everything went well, they would stay on 2 years, 3 years, or more than that, right? But if not, they would go on to another choice.
I think you talked about first is educational choices. Now, I think this is a problem of all of the public education all over the world, not just China, but obviously pretty prominent in China because the majority of the education is public education. So as a family, you can only send your kid to one school and that school only. And this is perhaps why a lot of middle-class Chinese parents decide to send their kids to relatively economical places such as Thailand or Southeastern Asia per se, in order to have the educational choices in in private education. And your educational groups, let's say, different schools in your educational group actually provides the choices, that they want.
Right.
Now, the second thing I think it's more about, we actually have a word in Chinese for families like this. We call them the educational immigration. So educational immigration means, the family immigrate to another country for the sole purpose of investing into their children's education. But I think your comment says a lot about that. It's never really just about education. It's also about, for example, that you go to a place and how you can fit into that culture. You have to investigate not only the school. Obviously, many parents took their kids to the school to visit the schools before making the decisions, but also to look at the city, to experience the life here, right? Because it is educational immigration, but the family has to live here, right? They have to feel comfortable living here. So that cultural integration is actually a very, very important part of that. Right. And I think the very illuminating part of our conversation so far is the kind of value that you instilled in your not only educational practices but also educational management and strategies to expand your school, which is actually quite interesting. It's very interesting. I never thought that you would focus on that in this conversation, and I think that's actually quite interesting, and it will give the Chinese parents a very interesting perspective. So I wonder, you definitely make long-term plans, right? But
yes.
So far the expansion was limited to before COVID. 2002, I think, right?
Right.
So COVID obviously changed a lot of things, but obviously you have plans into the future. I wonder if would you be able to share some of that with the Chinese audience? Like what plans do you foresee for your school's expansion development into the future?
I see. First of all, I would like to say that for the last 10 years, we experienced better and better Chinese parents. They seem to be nicer, more organized. And as I mentioned that, we believe that those parents who decided to come to Thailand, they did some research. And if they felt that this country is not my style, they wouldn't come. Not just one day, right? They pick up the plane ticket and fly to Thailand without making any researches. No, impossible. So I remember at the very beginning, maybe 10 years or 15 years ago, we felt very, very shocked with many aggressive Chinese parents, right? So we kind of got some immunization every year from very hard Chinese parents. But it seemed to be later on, the last 10 years, they seem to be better educated and nicer and more organized. So we have had fewer and fewer with the parents, and we seem to blend well together. So as you mentioned that what plan will we have for the future? Of course, now Unity has expanded to a new piece of land in the back. So we are going to have a new building for the grade 10, 11, 12, and more facilities to accommodate the students, more activities and academic activities as well. So, and in the same time, our newest international school is BCIS.
British Concordance.
Yeah,
Right?
British Concordance International School, which is in Hang Dong area. Also just signed a contract to expand another big piece of land. So it would be as big as Unity there, but it focuses on British curriculum. So if the parents don't want to study American curriculum, they also choose to go to BCIS to study British curriculum, which is different. And our two bosses listened to the parents, and they did a lot of research. And in the same time, we are very well supported by our God. So every step we make decisions seem to be correct, right? And seem to be very, very successful. And the parents said, why don't you, after we opened ABS for a long time, the parents said, why don't you open international school? So they did some research, right? And they prayed that they would like the land to be here in the middle of the location that very convenient, very beautiful, very safe, like that. And we got it. And also when parents say, why don't you add Chinese into your American curriculum? So our bosses listened to the parents, and they did the research, and they opened ACIS, which the place where the student have to study Thai, American English, and Chinese. And this place seemed to be very successful. Even many Thai family are interested and wanted to come to study in this place. And we feel that these days students have to study both English and Chinese. Very, very important. However, later on, parents come to our bosses and say, we didn't want to study American curriculum. Why didn't you open British school? So they did some research. It took them at least 2 years for the research before they made the decision to open BCIS. And the first year was very difficult because it's just the year after the COVID. So we struggled a lot, but thank you God that everything seemed to be solved, right, eventually, and seemed to grow steadily. And now I think we have almost 500 students.
That's impressive.
Yes, yes, and we aim to have 1,500 students there because we are going to have 2 more big buildings there on the new piece of land at BCIS school.
It seems like that you have a very positive prospects for your schools, and you're expanding facilities, infrastructure here at Unity. You're also, you mentioned that you rented a new place to expand British Concordance.
Yes.
So how important is it for the Chinese student population to play in your strategy? Because obviously they're a pretty important, they make a pretty significant part of your student body. Now I'm asking this question considering the current international context of the trade war between America and China. Do you worry that the international relations might affect the possibility that the Chinese are coming to Thailand to study, so that it might affect your prospects?
We kind of look at the good side more than the bad side. The bad side also in our glance, right? But we kind of look at the good side. People don't want wars, right? People don't want fighting. People want care and love and growth. So we focus on love and growth, right? And care and education. So we know that there are problems outside us, around us, but we would like to do our job the best. So we will keep on developing our educational system and our teachers and our facilities and our students, so that there will be people who don't want to focus on the fighting, on the war, and they would like to focus on the development, right? On the good lifestyle, on the love, on the care. So they come here, they will feel that we are very, very same type of people. So I believe that those people, when they come here, they will feel us and they will want to stay with us. And I believe that when we develop people with education, with love and secure, right, in their heart, right, and strong mental development, right, strong physical development, or even spiritual development, we believe that there will be high quality people, and the world needs these people, not aggressive people or fighting people, right? So we will do our part the best. We will keep pushing, developing people, so that there will be many, many more people who love peace, right? Who love to develop the world, not to destroy the world. Yes,
So
yes.
people crave love, and one of the most important goals of education is to nurture the quality, the character in people, so that they embrace love and peace, and to make the world a much better place. That's a very, very positive message. And,
Yes.
And I think that's a very, very good message.
We don't have to say that we are a church school, we are a church school. We don't have to. We believe in God. So we need to prove that our God is good through our strong and healthy lifestyle. Yes.
Leading by example and embrace love. It's a very, very good positive message, and I think it's a very good message to end today's conversation. It's very, very nice talking to you.
You're welcome.
We'll be providing the information about your schools at the bottom of this video, so that if anyone is interested in checking your school out and perhaps also visiting your school in the future, they can find all of your schools. You have seven schools already.
Main school, we have about six
Right.
And we have small schools.
That's right. Little Star is one of them, right? Cool.
Right. And we believe that there are a lot more opportunities for us to explore and develop. So we have to look on the positive side and keep on developing.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a very
and our people are very nice, very helpful and kind, especially Thai people. So we love them, we care about them, and we would like to see everyone, growing together. And we believe that people, when they come here, outside people, when they come here, they will see us, right, from the bottom of our heart, and they would enjoy living here, and they would like to stay here long.
That's right. Thank you, sir. It's a very interesting conversation, and I definitely enjoyed the conversation a lot. I hope in the future that we have other opportunities to talk in depth about educational policies in your schools. And thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
See you next time.
Yes, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.